Alright, I've decided I'm going to try to document my roof project here. This is the biggest project I've ever done on my own. So, it's going to be interesting. But, I've been looking forward to it and I've gotten started on it. There's the shingles. There's my cutting station. As you can see up here, there was a bunch of damage under here where the fascia and soffit vent is. This is the frame for that. There's the fascia and soffit vents down there. They're still in very good condition. I'm gonna pressure wash them, and if they still don't look great, I can repaint them. But it's aluminum, very good quality fascia, all one piece. If I was going to replace it all, I'd have to kind of make it out of two pieces. You buy the fascia and the soffit separately. So I'm going to reuse that. There's our old torn tattered flag representing our old torn tattered country. Anyway, let me go on up here. So I went through here the other day because of all this rod under here, and I cut the shingles out. Got some 15-30 seconds pressure treated plywood. The rod ends about right here. It's not completely rotten everywhere, but there's a bunch of places along there. Most of the roof isn't in too bad a shape, actually. These are the original shingles, 28 years old. Anyways, I took my oscillating tool and used that to get a nice straight cut. So then I can already cut my pieces, 9.5 or 9.25 inch pieces across there, after I finish doing what I'm going to do down there on the fascia. Anyway, pretty straightforward roof, a lot of vents. These will be particularly easy to sheathe around. I'm just going to bring the jigsaw up. Anyway, we have these two skylights that we really like, but someday if we ever get a metal roof, it's our resident hawk, lives around here somewhere, sometimes comes down and will like perch down there where the burn pile is. Anyway, we have these skylights, which other than being faded, or being like they are, like an old headlamp housing, they're in good condition. One in our little bathroom here, and then one down in my son's bathroom way down there. Same thing on this side. I still have to clean some with a old shingle out of there, but doing the same thing over here. The handy multi-tool, one of the best investments you can make. See what I mean about the rot? For the most part, except for a few sections, I'll have to replace some of the frame of the fascia there, but for the most part, the frame part isn't rotted. Whatever the mobile home companies use to build that stuff, these little 1 3/4 inch strips, furring strips and stuff they use, it's very good wood. Excuse me. Oh, I almost had to sneeze too. Believe it or not, it's very good quality wood. It doesn't easily rot. Everything around it will rot. So I don't have to do much with that. Here's where the main bad leaking takes place. Not over here, but right here. around this and all the way up here. As you can see, I've tried to patch it before. I've done all kinds of stupid shit to try to patch it. Look, somebody else. Who did that? I didn't do that. That must have been the roof people who came and looked at our roof and give us an estimate, and they thought that they were actually going to end up doing the roof. They must have did that. Anyways, this is the original roof. The only thing new on this roof is from when we had the house moved and they had to split it in half, and you have these, oh, I forget what they're called off the top of my head, but the shingles that go across the, where the two sides meet. Anyway, now this is where people are gonna be all aggravated with me. I'm not tearing these shingles off. Once I fix the soffits and redo the wood down there, there's a whole pallet of 3/8 inch plywood sheathing underneath that tarp, and I'm going right over top of the shingles with it, because for 28 years old, these shingles are still in pretty good shape. I'm one person and I'm trying to look at to save me some time and hassle, and the main thing that takes time and hassle is scraping these shingles off, pulling all that shit up out of there. I don't want to mess with any of that. And so I'm going right over top of this. I've already done the load calculations. Plenty of room for some extra load. 3/8 inch sheathing over this and another layer of shingles only adds like 1.2 to 1.4 pounds per square inch. I mean, there's been 4.5 feet of snow on top of this roof at one time, and there was never a problem. I don't think an extra layer of sheathing, an extra layer of shingles are going to be a problem. So that's what I'm going to do, since I'm doing this by myself. I don't want people to think I'm bitching or anything. You know I wouldn't let you help even if you wanted to, because you know how I am, and I need to do this by myself because I'm a big fat fuck. Big, fat, just morbidly obese. I'm surprised the roof even holds me. I mean, if this roof can hold me at 467 pounds, I think it can hold some extra sheathing. I actually feel bad for these ladders. I hope they're only rated at 300. I hope they don't. Ladders all over the fucking place. Actually, there's only two, but I finally got a second articulating ladder. I love them. For somebody like me, I don't need any other types of ladders, except for maybe a couple of small step ladders for using inside and stuff. But this is Harbor Freight Franklin version, basic of the very basic. Oh well, did this get all? What the hell happened? Boy, oh boy. There we go. It's a Harbor Freight Franklin articulated ladder. They're $139. It's been a very good ladder. I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. I think I got this when we bought this house, but it was at Royal Crest. And then I just got this, the 22-foot little giant. It gives me a 14-foot reach when it's being used as a step ladder, and gives me a 22-foot reach as an extension ladder. This ladder gives me a 17-foot reach as an extension ladder. So I'm very happy with the Franklin. I can highly recommend it, from Harbor Freight. Just a basic articulated ladder, nothing fancy, $139. You can get this little giant on a good sale. I paid $248 for it, and but you can that was on sale. If it's not on sale, they're about $279, but they're worth every penny. Anyway, back. It's a terrible video. I'm terrible at this. So here's our fascia. Like I said, there's the actual aluminum fascia and soffit in one piece. There's the frame of it. Most of the frame is still good. I replaced one bad piece. There might be another piece up here above the air conditioner I might replace, but I might not. It's not that big of a deal. And the reason it's not that big of a deal is because these pressure treated 3/4 by 6s are going up in place of the old 1932 OSB that was up there. This will be a little thicker, and because of that, it'll make the fascia. I might have to put a strip something behind it or something at the bottom or something. I might have to caulk it, maybe caulk, but it'll work out. It'll just be like a 1/4 of an inch different at both angles. It should still work out. I was just going to leave this old drip edge up there, but now that it's all fucked up and it's kind of in my way. Anyways, this is going to be going on the front, and something that wasn't there before, I'm also putting it on the bottom to strengthen it up more. But believe me, it's pretty damn strong. I almost tried to do a little pull up on it because I was really impressed with how strong it is with all the rot that there was. The only piece of wood I've had to replace on this side is right there. So anyway, so that's what's going on. Once I get these two soffits, same thing on the other side as I showed from the top of the roof. There's on my more pressure treated appearance board, which is really good for applications like this. It's not made necessarily for structural applications. You could use it structurally, but you need to double it up, make it 1.5 inches. And I still wouldn't use it structurally in a house. I'm talking like a shed or something, not like a house or a garage. But if you need to use this structurally for some reason, even temporarily, double it up. It's really not designed for structure, or, you know, so, but it is going to really tighten up that structure. And in the bottom, because the fascia, in the bottom, it's the vent. There's little holes in the bottom of the fascia, as you might have seen. Well, because I'm going to be using these boards, here's where I was going to cut a bunch of furniture strips I didn't end up needing, but there's where I fucked up on one side and had to go to the other side and fix it. Isn't that because I'm a dumb, remember, I'm 467 pounds. That alone fucks your brain up right there. So anyways, just gonna every few feet cut a hole with the hole saw every few feet in the bottom ones, so it'll still be able to breathe. The roof and the crawl space up in there will be able to breathe, and it'll be a lot more solid, and the fascia covering up the holes will keep most, you know, bees and stuff from getting in there and making this. So I did already find a bee's nest up in there, but it wasn't bothering anybody. So anyways, that's what's going on. Here's my nails. Starter strips. I went ahead and bought starter strips instead of, you know, doing it the hard. It's not that hard. But you can buy starter strips, and you can buy different things. They make different kinds of strips for hips and valleys and stuff. This doesn't have any hips and valleys, thank God. This is a very basic roof. Anyways, it really looks like it's a mess around here. It's not as bad as it looks. I just have all this crap all over the place. I'm trying to be as, you know, I've been trying to do a little work at night here and there, so I have a work light up there, and I have owned more sawhorses now. I have 8 sawhorses now, and I could use like 4 more. These sawhorses here are from the Home Depot. They're Husky brand, and they're really good. They're $50 a pair, and they're plastic, but don't be fooled because they're plastic. They're rated at 600 pounds each, and I use those for I made this work table